Williams was the kind of man everyone in town trusted. He ran the hardware store on the corner of Main Street, the place with the squeaky front door and the smell of pine wood that never left the air. He was steady, dependable, the sort of person you could hand your house keys to and never worry. But on one quiet evening, as the sun slipped behind the hills and the last customers wandered out, his life changed in ways he never imagined. The store was nearly dark when he finished counting the register. Outside, Main Street had gone still, the neon from the diner sign buzzing faintly in the distance. He reached for the light switch when he heard footsteps. Too many of them, too fast. Before he could move, the door burst open. 3 men stormed in, faces hidden under black masks. Their breath loud, their movements sharp. One carried a crowbar, another a pistol, the third a worn duffel bag slung over his shoulder. On the floor the one with the gun barked. Williams froze. He wasn't young anymore, and his hands trembled against the counter. The barrel of the pistol gleamed under the store's flickering fluorescent light. Slowly, he sank to the ground, heart pounding so hard it hurt. The robbers didn't waste time. One vaulted over the counter, kicking aside a display of screwdrivers, while another smashed the cash register open with the crowbar. Bills fluttered like startled birds, scattering across the floor. But it wasn't just money they wanted. Williams noticed it when the man with the duffel bag pulled out a map, unfurled it against the counter, and stabbed a finger at a marked location. "Where's the back room?" the man demanded. Williams swallowed hard. What do you want from there? It's just storage." "Don't play dumb," the robber hissed, pressing the crowbar dangerously close to his face. "We know about the deliveries. The crates. Open it." Confusion tangled in Williams' head. Deliveries. Crates. He ran a hardware store, nothing more, unless he remembered something. 3 weeks ago a shipment had come in by mistake. Wooden crates, heavier than usual, no labels except for a government seal he hadn't recognized. He called the supplier, who promised to send someone to collect them, but no one ever did. The crates were still sitting in the locked back room, untouched. And now, these men wanted them. Williams' voice cracked. "I don't know what's inside." "That's fine," the leader said, his eyes cold behind the mask. "We do." One robber yanked him to his feet, shoving him toward the back hallway. His knees buckled as they forced him forward, the pistol digging into his back. The store that had been his safe haven all these years now felt like a cage. When they reached the back door, Williams hesitated. His hand hovered near the keyring clipped to his belt. If he opened it, there was no telling what would happen. If he refused, he could end up dead right here on the linoleum floor. "Open it," the leader barked. With shaking fingers, Williams slid the key into the lock. The door creaked open, revealing stacks of crates lined against the far wall. Dust clung to them, but the faint stenciling of the seal was still visible. The robbers rushed forward like wolves closing in on prey. One pried a lid open with the crowbar. The wood splintered, the nails screeching. Inside was not what Williams expected. Not tools, not supplies. Guns, rows of rifles packed in grease paper, their metallic scent cutting through the dust. Williams staggered back, bile rising in his throat. "What is this?" The leader grinned beneath his mask. "Exactly what we came for." For a moment, time slowed. Williams realized he was standing in the middle of something far bigger than a robbery. He wasn't just a store owner anymore, he was now a witness, a liability. The leader's gun swung toward him. "You didn't see anything, old man. Remember that?" Before the shot could ring out, headlights flared outside. Tires screeched against the pavement. Police sirens wailed, cutting through the silence of the town. The robbers froze. One cursed under his breath. "They're early." Chaos exploded. The men grabbed rifles from the crate, slinging them over their shoulders. One kicked over a shelf, sending hammers and nails crashing to the floor, creating a barricade. Williams pressed himself against the wall, praying the shadows would hide him. The front door slammed open. "Police, drop your weapons." Blue and red lights bled through the dusty windows. Shadows of officers moved across the aisles, their voices sharp and commanding. But the robbers weren't surrendering. A shot cracked through the store, shattering a light bulb overhead. Glass rained down, sparks flashing. Officers dove for cover, returning fire. Bullets thudded into the walls, splintering wood and plaster. Williams' ears rang. His store, his life was turning into a war zone. He crawled toward the shelves, his hands slick with sweat, trying to stay low. His eyes darted to the back exit. Could he make it out? The leader noticed. "Move, and you're dead," he snarled, firing another round toward the police. Williams froze again, his body shaking, breath shallow. And then, amidst the gunfire and shouting, something inside him shifted. He thought of the town, of the children who came in with their parents to buy paintbrushes for school projects, of the neighbors who always stopped by for advice, of the store his father built with his bare hands. If these men escaped with the weapons, the danger wouldn't stop here. It would spread, consuming everything. Williams' trembling hand closed around something on the floor, a hammer knocked loose in the chaos. Its wooden handle felt solid, heavy, familiar. The leader stepped closer, his gun still aimed at the officers, unaware of Williams behind him. Williams rose slowly, every bone in his body screaming with fear, and swung with all the strength left in him. The hammer connected with the man's wrist, The gun clattered to the floor. The leader roared in pain, clutching his arm. In that instant, the officers surged forward. Shouts filled the air. 2 robbers fired wildly, but they were quickly pinned down, tackled, and disarmed. The duffel bag spilled open, rifles clattering across the tiles. The leader tried to lunge for his weapon, but Williams kicked it away, breathless, sweat pouring down his face. Within minutes, it was over. The robbers lay in handcuffs, furious and defeated. Officers swept the store, securing the crates, their expressions grim as they radioed for backup. Williams stood in the middle of it all, chest heaving, staring at the wreckage of his store. Broken glass, bullet holes, memories shattered alongside the shelves. But he was alive. The town was safe for now. An officer approached, resting a firm hand on his shoulder. "Mr. Williams, you just saved a lot of lives tonight." Williams nodded numbly. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man who had seen the face of something dark and dangerous, something that reached far beyond his little town. As the night deepened, the sirens faded, and the last robber was shoved into a waiting car. Williams stood outside his hardware store, watching the shadows swallow the street. He knew this wasn't over. Whatever those weapons were meant for, whoever had sent them, the fight wasn't finished. And for the first time in his life, Williams wasn't sure if his quiet little town would ever be the same.